So I was doing one of those Ask Me Anythings on Instagram last week, and one of you guys...
I still don't understand why you do that.
Me either.
I liked this one.
It feels like cutting to me. I feel like you're like... Is it a sadist?
No, it's just
Masochist?
Masochist. Joyce Payne?
Yes.
Not because there are things on Instagram that I can answer honestly, more so honestly than I can on the show. So I don't... A lot of times the questions are repetitive and those annoy me, but this one was really, really great, actually. And one virtual listener asked me a question, and as I was writing her back, literally started to make me cry. So I knew I had to do something about it. And it wasn't the one about the two of you guys having no sex in your house. That one.
So glad. My sex life makes me cry, so I got that covered.
But it really hit me hard. And as I answered, I realized, okay, I need to do something about this. And because I'm not seeing a therapist right now.
Still? Herbert.
I don't have money for it now. I am literally paying.
You don't have money for it?
I don't. I'm paying for everybody else's therapy in my family. I'm paying for all of them. I got no money for my own therapy. My son stole my therapist.
Shut up. You just said, I'm calling you out. You just said you did retail therapy the other day and you got a Blockbuster hat. If you can afford a Blockbuster hat, you can afford to go to therapy.
I literally, last week was feeling so bad that while we were doing the show, you know, the day that I just phoned it in, but I was here, but I wasn't really here.
Yeah.
I was online shopping all morning long. And all the stuff's starting to come in now. And I did. I got myself like a Blockbuster trucker hat.
Like what? Like Blockbuster Video?
For what?
I don't know. I was just hurting. I just wanted to spend a couple of bucks. And that one didn't seem too expensive.
Okay.
And I thought, ironically, when it comes in, it'll be a fun hat to wear.
Yet another sign. You need to go to therapy.
I don't have the cash. If somebody else in my house would be healthy, I would have the money to start taking care of myself.
Get out of here.
All right, so this was the question. Love your show. Been listening for many years. You never talk about your older son. Is he okay? So she's talking about my 19-year-old son, Hayden, who is at SCAD. And this is one of the things that I have really been struggling with in my life, probably for the last year. So I started to answer it, and as I was answering, I started tearing up. I said, hey, not much to share, really. I struggle with this. He's not really a connector, but he sure is working on it. And I think I try to not put pressure on him by forcing him into connecting. But the result of that has been less communication than I would like. I love him so much, but I'm really kind of confused how to be a good father to him, honestly. I'm starting to get all tight in the chest thinking about it now, too. I just, Hayden is from he has got so much blood from my mother's side of the family that I do too, that I've had to go to therapy for 20 years to really reprogram myself. He just has a very tough time communicating, keeping in contact, connecting, but he is really working very hard on it. I have just been feeling lately like I don't know who my son is. I feel like when I call him on the phone, even though it's not often, I can almost feel like an annoying sound in his voice. And I never wanted to be that parent. So I think I've backed off a little bit of that. And in doing so, I feel like there's too much distance between he and I. It has been hard for me to connect to Hayden because we're such different people anyway, and his interests are so different than mine that it's not as easy for me to connect. It takes more effort in my relationship with him than it would my son Hollis, who, we have the exact same interests, and I could talk to him all day long, and he kind of tells me what's going on in his life. And Hayden's just not like that. But I also don't want to scare him off by every time the phone rings that Dad's going to... I think he might take it as an inquisition when I'm really just trying to find out what's going on in his life. So I've backed off, and I really just feel lost in my relationship with him.
This is from an outsider looking in, and from my own personal experiences, I believe this is a phase. Because I remember my first year of college, I withdrew from my family big time because I was all in this like self-exploration, on my own journey, figuring out who I am as a person outside of my family. So I withdrew big time from my family, especially when I first moved out and onto campus. Now, with that said, and I know like I look back now and I have no doubt it hurt my parents' feelings. Like how little I communicated with them my first year of college. And I actually like looking back, it's one of my regrets and I feel bad about that now. But in the moment, I was just so excited to be on my own and do my own thing that's all I was concerned about. Because, you know, you're 19, your brain is still developing and you're not thinking long term and you're selfish. It is what it is. I think for you, if you want to have that connection and you want to have more communication, every night shoot him a text and say, hey, buddy, love you. Hope you had a good day.
That would drive him crazy. I
Really?
think. Yes. I think it would just drive him crazy. And then selfishly, maybe I got to get over my own ego here. I know he wouldn't respond back every night. And I think I'd start to get my feelings hurt.
Yeah, you can't do it expecting a response.
Yeah, Mo?
That would have drove me crazy at his age too. I'll probably always be an introvert and always be the kind of guy who's just off to myself. But when I was his age, I was certainly worse. And I'm sure my parents probably talked about it a lot. They probably like thought to themselves, what could they do? But there really was nothing they could do. It was a phase. It was just a moment in time. That's who I was. I just was comfortable by myself and to myself. I didn't share much. I didn't talk about much. And I truly didn't, I don't think, come fully out of that until my grandma passed. That's when it kind of made me just a completely different person with how I viewed family and handled family business. So there was nothing wrong with me. It's just literally who I was at the time.
All right, hang on to that because I'm going to circle back to that answer here in just a second.
Same thing as Kristen. I withdrew. I wouldn't call my parents for weeks at a time. And you're exposed to so much. You're trying to figure out who you are outside of your family, but also you're exposed to all these new ideas, new concepts, new people with new interests. And it takes a lot to wade through. And you can lose yourself a little bit too, trying to figure out who you are. It got to the point with me where my parents had conversations about pulling me out of school because they just didn't recognize me anymore because I was undergoing such a transformation. So I think I regret it too. Like, it's got to be hard as a parent. Like, you have your kid around all the time, then they leave for college and they basically cold shoulder you and they don't talk to you and you don't recognize them anymore. But it sounded like it's pretty normal for the first year or so.
Yeah.
And then I came around after that.
So after I got that, I got some advice from Bert Show listeners in my DMs. And as I'm reading them, again, I'm like getting all tight in the chest and stuff. And I decided to reach out to Hayden. And they were all like, you should be honest with your kid and tell him how you're feeling. So I reached out to him and, you know, we started some small talk on text. And then he asked me how I've been doing. And I won't get to all of it. But the last part was, honestly, I think my biggest pain point is us. I miss you, man. I'm trying to find the sweet spot of connecting with you without you being annoyed because I know you like your space. But I feel like I have zero impact on your life and I feel out of touch. So he writes back immediately, which is really not like him. He says, you're having an impact on my life, Dad. I love you a lot. If you want to talk, I'm free right now. And you don't annoy me. I do like my space. So I got on the phone and we talked for about 15 minutes.
It's a long time for you guys.
It's a really long time. I don't like talking on the phone all that much. So it might be one of those things where be careful what you ask for. But we got on the phone and he reiterated exactly what you said, Mo. Couldn't have said it any better.
Really?
He said the exact same thing you did. I know it must be hard that you must take it personally, Dad, but I don't like talking on the phone. I just don't connect with people that way. I'm really working on it. And then he just reassured me. I know it kind of sounds silly, you know, as a parent that you have to be reassured also. But there are times where I just feel like I've failed because we don't have as tight a relationship. And his words coming back to me saying that, you know, I feel close to you. Don't do anything differently. You absolutely aren't annoying me. This is just who I am. And then we broke off into conversations about what's going on in his college world. And you guys, he is as happy as I have ever heard him.
Awesome.
That's great.
I was so nervous for him to go to college because he is pretty socially awkward. And I was really nervous for him to just be in the dorm and then go to school and then be in the dorm and not make friends. He's making friends. He's going out. And I don't know that I have ever heard more enthusiasm in his voice than I did when we really got to talking.
And to think the AMA instigated all of that.
I know, and that's why maybe I'll do another one next year. So thank you for your advice, you guys. I mean, it doesn't get easier as they get older. The challenges are always there. They're just so different, but I do think we're all going through this thing together, man. It's the Bert Show.
The Bert Show.
So first, thanks for watching. Second, you like what you just watched? That just scratches the surface. Get the Bert Show on any podcast platform. We're so good.